Mason, you can be Collinsworth tonight. That'd really throw people for a loop.
This is Mason's show.
Ladies and gentlemen,
get off the screen, Mason.
Yeah, get off the screen. You need to get off more.
There you go, Mason.
Order.
More.
Mason, you're supposed to get off screen.
I'm trying to figure out how to make this work. Okay.
Mason, what is our running order? Is it John, me?
It's the same.
No, you got a caution last week.
No.
No, this is wrong.
How do I do this? Okay.
You got to figure this out. Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode of the Track Packers podcast. I am your new host, Jessup Pelkey. I am with John Breckel of John Breckel Announcing LLC and Becca Pelkey of Reba Power Walking Lessons. And Chris Collinsworthing today is our very own Mason Eisenzimmer. Hello, everybody. How are we doing this week?
We are doing awesome. It is a gorgeous week so far here in August, and we are ready for some more racing action.
I agree with John. It's a beautiful week. It's a different week because it's a little bit confusing, the timeline of this, but we'll kind of explain in a little bit why that is. But outside of that, I'm good.
I agree. It is a very confusing time frame. Becca doesn't know if we're in this week, next week, or the next month. Becca, how are you doing?
Why do you call me Reba?
That's what you do when you power walk. You're Rebaing.
No, I'm just being me. Becca, on a mission, trying to do it before it's races start.
Why do you always have to use profanity? And with that, folks, we are bringing out the caution on Becca for profanity.
When did he call you Reba on this take?
Cool.
We are in a family-friendly section here. There is no smoking, no drinking, no cussing at the announcers and host at this moment. Mason, would you like to get some control over this show?
Sure. So this is episode...
Hold on one second. We're going to give you a quick running order update here. It's going to be in the front row, regardless of what Mason has set up for us tonight. It currently should be myself on the pole, John on the outside pole. Becca has now received the tail of the field, and Mason is running third. Mason is shaking his head, but if you go back and look at the cautions in the last episode, you will see this is the correct order. Ever since Mason put in a rule book, we have very strict zero tolerance policies for all the other issues that can cause a caution or a disqualification. And that is why we are running this order. So currently in the back row, it is Becca running fourth, and she is already in the pits.
Let's look.
Mason in the third.
She's already looking up
in the front row outside, and I am on the pole.
Unfortunately, all of this goes through the editing folks or committee by some people's standards, and they suggested to keep the lineup the same.
Wrong, Mason, wrong.
Unfortunately, they kind of have the final say on the final product.
You know what?
Yes, it's because we do point invert for lineup. So essentially, they have to put us in the back because we're the fast people.
Mason and I are in the front row. You guys are just upset.
No, you are. How are you on the front row? You guys make more mistakes than John and I.
Especially me.
Yeah,
I am perfect.
You guys are searching for cautions like NASCAR searches for.
That's mainly Jessup that searches for cautions.
I don't understand why you're picking on the cripple.
Well, race fans, welcome back to season 2, episode 24 of the Track Packers podcast. We are all here tonight again. We want to thank you for joining us, and also thank you to our presenting sponsor, Hitch Harness. We have to thank Tyler Hall and his crew. They do a great job with hitch storage, accessories, and much more for all types of vehicles, whether it's RVs, trailers, pickups, anything out there. Be sure to check them out. Again, Hitch Harness on their website or even their Facebook page. They have a bunch of accessories and a variety of colors, and they can help you with any type of accessory you need to help keep your hitch safe in your vehicle.
Mason, what type of accessories does he have for our racing car drivers?
Well, they have chassis dollies for the racers out there, so it makes life easier working on in the shop, so you can kind of clean it a little bit easier and do weekly maintenance. And so encourage you, check out the website, continually adding inventory and products. So thank you so much, Tyler, for the support.
Good job, John. I like how we tag teamed that as a team, and then Becca
I was
was
getting tired of
quiet.
Mason's same one every week.
2 benefits.
Anyways, did you guys know this episode is episode 24?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, William Byron.
It's
Kelly-
William Byron.
Technically-
Yes.
Or is it Kelly Henderson?
Oh, it's probably Kelly.
Kelly Henderson,
Or is it-
Hollywood
I
Henderson.
like Kelly's
Or is
car.
it Terry Lillo? Old number.
It's a very popular number. I will say that.
It could be Leanne Christensen too.
It could be.
Quentin Kinsley.
It
Or-
could be
yes.
Quentin Kinsley too. Are we going on? Who else can we name? Let's
Ryan
go.
Ost.
Ashley Wampler,
Go on, Becca.
Victoria Skutsky,
Who? Victoria or Victorious?
Victoria Skutsky.
Victoria.
Victoria.
And I think Rebecca has a 24 too.
Yes, she does. 24 junior, I think.
Right number.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Great number.
All right.
You want me to take over from here, people?
Yes, please.
We've been
Yes.
waiting.
Oh my-
You've been just
We've been
all
waiting,
over the
but
place.
You
We've
just
really-
don't take
this
over.
has been a
You-
fun start.
It has been a
need to
fun
work on-
start.
You
It's
need to
nice
work
to
on your
everyone-
leadership skills.
It's nice to vary it up every once in a while. So for those watching, kind of a couple caveats. We're recording this early, a week prior to when this episode will be released. I will be on vacation out of state. So kind
Are
of
you
trying
going
to
to any
plan ahead a little
racetracks?
bit. I'm actually not going to be at racetracks until the next Friday.
Wow, Mason, you actually are taking a vacation from racing.
You're missing out. This is the time where you really need to branch off and attempt to get those out of state tracks that you're never going to get another chance to see.
Well, and I have to double check here because where I'm vacationing at might actually be outside the 900-mile radius.
It probably is, Mason, because where
Folks,
you're going is
this is
probably
it.
over 1,000 miles away because we drove out there before. It's over 1,000 miles.
This is it, folks. We're going to
Oh,
have
yes.
our best chance for racing here. And the eastern
This is very
seaboard
true.
is going to be at least a foot of water beneath sea level at that point.
I mean,
Because Mason's
they
going to
already
make
have
it rain.
tornadoes.
What, Becca?
They're already getting tornadoes and stuff out there.
Becca is right on that. And also,
They also
know-
have a foot of rain out there.
I did have to laugh a little bit because, Mason, you took some great drone footage this past week over at the Devil's Lake Speedway when you were over there. And I love the comment on Devil's Lake Speedway's Facebook page that for some reason the weather even missed them.
That's all your guys' fault, by the way, for that comment.
I don't understand.
What did we do?
You know what you did.
We only
Anyways.
speak the truth.
Anyways, we're recording this on Wednesday, the 9th. This will probably come out on the 15th or 16th. And so we're kind of a week ahead on everything. So we won't have necessarily a race recap of the previous weekend's races, but we have some fun ideas in store for the episode number 24. With that, we'll drop the green flag on episode 24 and get right into who or what are we repping before this train goes completely off the tracks. And we'll go over to Miss Becca Pelkey once again. Who or what are you repping?
So this week, is the upcoming 15th annual Drive to Survive over at the Dacotah Speedway. And tonight I am wearing the inaugural Drive to Survive t-shirt from back in 2009. So this is the very first t-shirt that they came up with. And basically, if you wore this t-shirt back in 2009, you had free admission into the races. And then all the proceeds from these t-shirt sales went back to the Bismarck Cancer Center, which is a local facility here in Bismarck, Mandan, where you can go and get cancer treatments or different not just for the patient, but for the family and different services and therapies and all that good stuff. So this year is the 15th annual, and we've raised well over $40,000 in the 15 years that we've done this. So great money raised for a great place here in town, and that money saved local. So yeah, great concept. I love it. A lot of other tracks have kind of taken on this concept and adopted it and made it their own. It's a great way just to raise money for the local people who and families who may have cancer, just because we all know someone or a family that's been affected by it in one way or another. So just a good way to give back to those that we know and love.
Excellent. It's always a great event at Dacotah Speedway. I think I was there for the second annual, so I have a nice pink and black hat that I got that next year, and that's definitely one of the favorite events of the season over there. So yeah, awesome repping of the shirt. Great timing on that. Jessup, we'll go to you. What are you repping?
Mason, I am continuing my trend of irrelevance, as this racer has not raced since 2020. He is in the southern part of America, as he races out of Walker, Louisiana, and it is none other than Rocky DeGroy. And kind of a fun shirt. You can definitely tell he's racing a street stock, but he also has raced limited sport mods as well. So Rocky DeGroy is my shirt of choice this week, and as it continues the path of irrelevance, since we've never seen him in our area, and he hasn't raced since 2020.
Yeah, definitely not a name I recognize at all. Did it say which track he raced at most recently?
Baton Rouge Raceway.
I did not know they had a racetrack there. They do. That I did know.
I did not
And
know
the only reason why I know that, Mason, is because we're going down there for bowling for nationals in 2 years, so I've already done some research.
Are you going to race me, John?
Potentially, depending on schedule wise. I mean, obviously we're still 2 years out. We'll see.
When is nationals?
We go at the end of April.
End of April. Okay. Ooh, you got a chance.
Because isn't the USMTS down at a lot of the tracks in that area kind of during that time frame of the year? Or is that usually earlier, like February or March?
No,
I feel like that's earlier.
So this year, at least for this year, it had the last weekend of April is a championship points night. So just the first night of the season. They race. Weekly classes are I think they spelled crate wrong. Crete, CRETE, racing late models, limited modified, rookie limited modified. Jesus, they got the same issues we have. Too many mod classes. All right, they have a rookie limited modified class, a street stock class, a pure stock class, a stingers. We'll have to look at that. Gen Next, Young Guns, and Mini Wedge. Holy crap.
How many cars did they get?
I'm looking it up right now. Hold on. I've been told the 403 forbidden. All right, let's go. Let's go to my race pass. Baton Rouge.
That is awesome.
That's
403 forbidden. All right, let's see what we got going here. Baton Rouge Raceway. All right, results. Let's just do a one race night. Let's look at the last week. As of last week, pure stocks 7. Rookie limited modified 17. Okay. Street stocks 6. Hey, Austin Jessup. That's pretty neat. Young Guns, 8. Limited Mod, 11. Generation Next, another mod class, Generation Next Limited Mods, 5. Stingers, 11. Crate Late Model, Crate Racing, USA Dirt Late Models, 18.
Ooh.
Mini Wedges, 9. And that's it.
Wow, that's an assortment of classes.
That is a
Oh.
very good assortment of classes. A lot.
92 cars. That's
Oh,
not
okay.
That's not
That's not a
terrible
bad car count by any means.
if they just would put their mod divisions together.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see like what the difference is, if there is any difference, or if they just kind of do it based on like age or something. I have no idea.
No
Maybe.
idea. All right. Sorry, Mason. We got off on a bit of a wild goose hunt there.
No problem. That's actually kind of interesting to see what's all out there across the country. So cool trip for your shirt as well.
Yep.
I'll go next for my shirt before we get to John and a potential history lesson. This is a throwback shirt. I think this is from the year 2009, so slightly older than Becca's. This is a Beater Racing shirt. So it's got the 48 is Brock Beater. The 47 is Brandon Beater. 46 is the late Kelly Ramble. And then I don't remember who the 44 was from 2007. I'm struggling to figure that out. But this is one of the shirts I got at the Nodak Speedway when I was growing up. Wore the heck out of this, especially for pajamas. And yeah, I kind of dug a little bit to find a cool looking shirt. And so obviously Brock races still to this day. Brandon kind of dabbles in amongst many different cars, depending on who may give him a ride or if he, has a car of his own, which I think he's actually getting a car built for him. So kind of a cool shirt to rep. Beater Racing from, I believe, 2007. So we'll move on to John Breckel. What are you repping?
Okay, so tonight, actually, I'm not going down a complete history lesson. I know you guys are surprised.
What?
I decided to take a 1-week break. And then, we're going to start hitting it pretty hard here upcoming here in the next couple of weeks. But I got a brand new shirt a couple weeks back, and it is a very nice shirt. This driver has actually been on a tear recently over in the super late model world. And it is the smooth operator, Bobby Pierce. So super comfy shirt. He's got a nice paint scheme on the back of it as well with his car. And it is super nice. Bobby has had a very, very nice season here. Started off a little slow during the first couple of months of this touring season, but lately he's been on a tear. Back in the beginning of August, he picked up the win down in Boone for the Hawk 50. Then he picked up a huge win over in Cedar Lake this past 2 weekends ago over there for the USA Nationals. And he also picked up a win here just on Tuesday, August 8th, over at the Dacotah Speedway with the XR Super Late Model Series. So he's had a very, very nice run here of victories over the past about maybe week to 2 weekish time frame, and has come on super strong here in the world of all late model scene.
Yeah, it's been fun to kind of watch him live at a couple of the races. John and I got to see him over at I-94. That was another big race. I believe he won that race too, didn't he?
He won that race. Yep, he won that night.
Yeah, he was ripping the high side like Bobby Pierce typically does, and yeah, put on a show for the fans. He's definitely one of the popular figures, whether you like him or people may not like his driving style too much, but either way, he puts on a show for the fans. So,
the one thing I do like about especially like the super late model world, or even with the sprint cars too, with the world of all that sprint car, the amount of like family members that actually work the souvenir stands are kind of cool. Because when I went over there for shirts and everything else with trailers at I-94, Bobby's mom was in the trailer. You went over to Mike Marlar's trailer. Mike was actually in the trailer helping out, do stuff there too. Same thing when you went to Brandon Shepard, some of his family members were over there. So it was kind of neat to see that, the family members are right there interacting with the fans as well.
Yeah, it always makes me think of whenever I go past like Donnie Schatz's trailer, even in Volusia, his parents were there in the souvenir trailer selling everything. And so it's kind of nice that the family still kind of travels with the racers. And yeah, it's a good, fun family affair all across the country. And so awesome, John. Cool shirt. That is who or what we are repping for episode number 24. And for our track back report, like we said at the beginning, it's a little bit different just because this is recorded ahead of the racing weekend that we previously previewed. And so we're going to kind of cover the point standings across the state of North Dakota, kind of highlight some of the points battles that are taking place. There's been a track or two that's probably finished up their championship run and just has a couple of special events to finish out the year. But we're going to highlight the point standings and kind of drivers to watch as the season comes to a close. And so I think Wishick is one of the first ones that finished up their points season. And so do one of you want to talk about Wishick a little bit?
I can take Wishick if you guys want me to.
Go ahead, John.
So Wishick, a lot of their point standings were actually really close this year too. Just because they had a couple of rainouts at the start of the season, but they did make up those races. That was kind of cool too, because typically you see with Wishick, they run Thursday nights, and sometimes they'll run maybe a Thursday here, and they'll take maybe a week or two off, and they'll run the next Thursday. But there was a lot of Thursdays, especially in that June, beginning of July timeframe, to where it was like almost every Thursday that they were racing, which is kind of cool to see. But I'll just go through the classes really quick here too. Jeremy Hare, he is one of our local drivers over at the Dacotah Speedway in Mandan as well. We see him over in Jamestown several times throughout the year. He picked up the track championship down there in the hobby stock division. Chris Rangeloff was in second in points. Then it was Barrett Hare, Derek Appert, and Quint Irish. Those are your top 5 in the point standings. In your legends, Glenn Mitchell picked up the track championship. So great job to Glenn. So one of our drivers from overseas that came over again this year for the summer. It's always fun having Glenn up here with us. He picked up the track championship over Donovan. Donovan was 17 points back. Ty Olson, who picked up his first career feature win down there in the legend, was 3rd in points. Trevor Starr in 4th, and Don Hayes in 5th. In the Midwest Modifieds, it was Brennan Waite. Brendan picked up the track championship. His last track championship over in Jamestown was in 2021, before he picked up the track championship over here in the Tri-County Speedway in Wishick. Aaron Michael was 2nd. Dawson Zabel in 3rd, Matt Duscher 4th, and Zach Ranke in the top 5. And then in your street stocks, it was Jaden Christ who picked up a track championship over at the Tri-County Speedway in Wishick over Jody Michelson, Chris Walk Jr., Chris Gonska, and Billy Christ. So congratulations to those drivers. Their next event on their schedule is going to be their Sauerkraut 500. That is going to be on September 8th and 9th. So that'll be a big event for all of their regular classes down there in Wishick. And it's always a great time. They always have great food, great racing, and just a fun atmosphere for those 2 days.
Awesome. So that finishes out the season at the Tri-County Speedway in Wishick. Encourage you, definitely go down and support them during the Sauerkraut weekend. That's always a very fun weekend for them down there in Wishick. So moving over to the west side, we're going to kind of go from west to east across the North Dakota landscape, and let's hit up Williston and see how their points are doing. Jessup, you want to kind of touch on Williston?
I can take Williston. Why not? Well, Williston's been bad. They've been, I think saying it nicely would be, they've been plagued by weather this year, and it's they're fighting and kicking and scratching and clawing their way to the end of the season, but that doesn't mean the point battles aren't close, because much as Becca has told us before, with the points may never be closer, especially with the few races that they've had. But with that being said, looking at their IMCA hobby stock division, Kyler Cetran has a 6-point lead over Ethan New, and who has a 1-point advantage over 3rd place rookie driver, Brenner Grinstead. And then sitting in 4th and 5th are Matt Sorensen and Jevin Dam. Is it Dam or Dom?
I think it's, I honestly don't know. I do know that it's Kyler Satrin.
Satrin.
Yeah, Satrin. I like Satrin. That's a good one. Moving to the IMCA modifieds, it's the dark horse, Travis Hagen. And then someone brought this up. I can't remember who it was, one of the announcers. We may have to give him a new nickname, because he's no longer a dark horse. Maybe he's just lead horse.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right.
It's not to be mean or anything. It's just he's no longer a dark horse. He's colorful horse or knighted horse or horse of main focus.
If anyone has
Anyways,
better nicknames than what Jessup just laid out, please submit them below in the comment section.
Agreed.
anyways, he's got a pretty I would say I'll say it, but he's got a pretty healthy lead over second place, Justin Medler, who's 16 points back. Then in third place is Jake Nelson. Fourth place is Philip Keller, and in fifth place is Tommy Lee. Going down to the IMCA Northern Sport Mods, we got a pretty nice
Becca?
battle.
You're on mute, by the way.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted that. Fun fact about Travis Hagen in Williston, he is the only feature winner in the modifieds up there. He's won every time that they've raced.
Nice. Good fun tidbit there, Becca. Looking at the IMCA Northern Sport Mods, we got a nice little battle going on here. And Ed Conlin has a 3-point lead over Darren Medler. And lurking in the shadows for a nice... If anything happens with those two drivers, these next three drivers have a real good chance of pouncing on the opportunity and taking advantage of it. And that would be Tate Johnson, who's 10 points back from Ed. And then Tanner Conlin and CJ Peterson are both 11 points back. So it's really anybody's game. And that division, there's so many cars over there. One bad night can definitely shake things up real quick.
And they've been getting a lot of sport mods over in Williston.
They have.
Yeah.
They've been averaging over the 24 to 25 to 26 range.
Looking at your IMCA stock cars, this is your current, what I would say, division to watch for the points battles. Jordan Boyce holds a 1-point lead over Justin Bachmeyer. Sitting in third is Jason Storbakken, who's 4 points back. And fourth is Keith Maddox, who's 6. And Troy Heupel is 10 points back in fifth. So again, anybody's race to the finish. Going to be, at this point, we're 2 weeks out. By the time you guys hear this, it's going to be championship week, so points will probably be a little different, but it should be a good run. And then let's not forget our junior slingshots. Haley Maddox is leading in a nail biter between Weston Uranker, who's only 1 point back, and then it's Mason Sorensen, who's 10 points back in third, followed by Sawyer and Landon Goodrow.
Yep.
And that, folks, is your points highlight for Williston Basin. They have, as we said, 2 more races. As you guys listen, probably just 1 more race, which will be the season championship. And after the season championship, there is their two-night big, what is it?
Fall roundup.
Thank you. I was going to call it something else. There's something Western, but it's the fall roundup. And that'll be the week of September 15th and 16th. Thank you, John.
You're correct. Yep.
I was going to say
15th
14th,
and 16th.
but 15th and 16th sounded right. So that is what I got for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you for the update on Williston. Moving to the Southwest Speedway next, Miss Becca. Can you give us a rundown how that's going?
Yes. So I'll start with the IMCA modifieds. When people are watching or listening to this podcast, we will be going into championship week over at the Southwest Speedway, as their championship night is August 19th. So 1 week, 1 race left in their regular season, and then it'll be their Richard Jordan Memorial Race in September. So going into championship night over at the Southwest Speedway in the IMCA Modified Division, we got a tie between 2 drivers. It's Travis Tooley and Zach Frederick. They are currently tied for the points lead. Josh Carson currently sits in the 3rd spot, 14 points back. Caden Roberts, he is 17 points back in 4th place, and Jordan Braun rounds out the top 5. He is about 27 points back. So points are awfully tight, especially between Travis Tooley and Zach Frederick in the IMCA Modifieds. Zach Frederick is also the two-time defending track champion over the at the Southwest Speedway, so he's going for a three-peat here this weekend. In the IMCA stock cars, Luke Krogh is currently the points leader. He's got a 3-point lead over second place Casey Binstock. Alex Braun currently.
Keep going.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You guys are just being good and it's distracting. Okay. So in Alex Braun is currently in the third spot. He is 6 points back. Then Tyler Bartholomew is currently fourth. He is 13 points back. And Haley Jordan, she is 77 points back in fifth place. So Luke Krogh has got a 3-point margin over Casey Binstock in the IMC stock cars. In the IMC sport mods, Jordan Binstock is your points leader. He's got a 1-point lead over Cole Lewis. Drew Papke, a rookie in the racing division, he is currently third in the point standings. He is 6 points back. Paul Warner is 11 points back in fourth place. And Darren Schatz, the real Schatz, he rounds out the top 5. He's about 73 points back. He's missed a race or two at the Southwest Speedway. The Inex Legends are a little tricky, and I only know this because I accidentally got the email that was intended for someone else, but it sounds like they forgot to add a night in the points. Or sorry, they forgot to add points to a certain night over there. So the points that we see on my race pass going to championship night are a bit misleading. So we're just going to bypass them, but I would imagine based on the winners that Gage Madler, Noah Madler, those guys should be right up there, as well as Dayton Nolheiser. And I think Preston Martin has maybe missed a race out there, but I would imagine he should be right up there as well. So points in the Inex Legends are a little misleading. I think they need to add some points to a night, maybe 2 that they forgot to do on my race pass. Back to IMCA. For the most part, IMCA likes to email me when they ask for the results and the points. So I have a feeling that the IMCA points at the Southwest Speedway should be pretty spot on going into championship night. So rounding out our IMCA hobby stocks, Cody Hulse, who was a co-champion last year. He is the points leader over Taylor Heaton. He is 8 points back. Paul Aiden is 10 points back in Aiden Paul is 10 points back in third place. Chad Warner is 12 points back in fourth place. And Ethan New is in the fifth place, 18 points back. But Cody Hulse has a nice 8-point lead going into championship night. And then in the junior slingshot, they've only had 4 competitors this year. Corbin Krogh is your points leader. He's got a 1-point lead over Weston U-Ranker. Jacob Campbell is currently third, just 2 points back. And Zach Campbell is 3 points back in fourth. So points are awfully close, especially in your slingshots, your modifieds, potentially your Inex Legends, stock cars, and so it should be a really exciting championship weekend over at the Southwest Speedway this Saturday. And then they have their Richard Jordan Memorial Race, and that should be September 9th and 10th, which is a Saturday and Sunday doubleheader weekend over at the Southwest Speedway.
Thank you very much, Becca, for the update on Southwest Speedway. A lot of good, like you said, a lot of good close point battles there too. We'll move to our friends north of the border over in Estevan to get their point updates. So they have, as of this recording, 3 races left in their season for points. So by the time this comes out, they'll have 2 more races yet to go. They race every Saturday until the end of August to close their season. So hobby stocks, a points update right now. Kyler Satrin is the leader with 226 points. 2 points back is King Yorland, followed by Brendan Grinstead, 10 points back. Connor Hansen is in fourth, 12 points back. And Kanan Tukeshire is 27 points back. So very close points battles in your IMCA hobby stock division. In the IMCA sport mods, Robbie Roselli has a very large 27-point lead over Brian Kentner. Third place is Keenan Glosser, 34 points back. And then it's a 3-way tie for fourth, 53 points back between Ryder Raynard, Mike Hudson, and Rick Milowitz. So Robbie Roselli's kind of got a good grip on the sport mod points race as of right now, but still 3 points races left. Anything can happen from now until the end of the season. IMCA stock cars is a very close points battle. Right now, your current points leader is the 17H of Chris Hortness with a 1-point lead over the 38 of Adam Goff. Third place currently is Kyle Schopp in the 2 machine, 6 points back. Jordan Boyce in fourth, 16 points back, and Jeff Mann 34 points back in fifth. So that's going to be a battle. It's going to go down to the wire. IMCA modifieds. Travis the Dark Horse Hagen, also call him the Dark Horse for now, has a 10-point lead over the 11 of Stephen Pfeiffer. Third place is Cody Schultz, 24 points back, followed in fourth by Isaiah Geisel in the 21Z and 38 points back. And then fifth is JJ Barnstable, 50 points back. So it looks like it's coming down between Pfeiffer and Hagen for the points in the modifieds. And in your slingshots, Slayton Pfeiffer in the 11 is your points leader by 3 over Jacek Ashworth. Third place is a tie between Brogan Wagner and Eli Turnbull. They are both 12 points back. And then fifth place is the 195 of Hudson Mann. So that is your points update for Estevan. They race August 12th, August 19th, or let me double check that. Yeah, August 12th, August 19th, and Friday, August 25th is their championship night to finish out their season. So still quite a bit of racing left for them, but once August is done, then their season's done. So be sure to get to Estevan if you're wanting to get north of the border for some racing. We'll move on over to Nodak Speedway and back to Mr. John Breckel for the points update there.
Yeah, so points are very close in a lot of the classes up at Nodak. They just came back from the fair, so they had racing here the past couple of Sundays, but again, they just started back up here in August after they took about the whole month of almost July off. So back in your IMC Hobby Stocks, Kyler Satrin is your current leader. He's got a 3-point advantage currently as we tape this over Caden Appelt. Put that flag away, Jessup, as you pronounced his last name wrong earlier. Brennan Grinstead is running third in points. Thomas Goldsberry is fourth in points, and Alex Dwight is in fifth in points. So pretty close points battle there again between Appelt and Satrin, as those two have been going at it over in the McLean County Speedway as well in Underwood. IMC Modifieds. It's Travis the Dark Horse Hagen. Travis had a really good season last year. He's having a great season again this year. He currently leads over Drew Christensen in second. Wayne Johnson, who's in his 40th year of racing right now, is in third. Isaac Sundrol, Hot Sauce, also a sponsor of our podcast. Thank you, Isaac, is running right now in fourth. And Marcus Tomlinson, your defending track champion, is in the top 5. So pretty close points battles as well in your mods, especially from about second to fourth. Anything can happen within those positions. Your IMCA Northern Sport Mods, one of our youngsters is leading. He's had a great season. That is Gabe Deshaw. Gabe has had a very nice season. He is leading over Brock Beater in second. Christopher Zenz is in third. Darren Medler is in fourth. And Robbie Roselli is in fifth. As they sit right now, currently only 20 points separates your top 5. So very close points in your sport mods, as they have also been having very nice car counts at the Nodak Speedway in Minot. In your IMCA Sport Compacts, Alex Thompson is your current points leader. He has got a 3-point advantage over Chris Yost. Then it is Tiffany Tusher, along with Lily Christensen and Abby. Is it Tallman? Yeah, Abby Tallman back there in the top 5. So again, very close points battles, especially for your top 2, as they're going at it in Mandan as well for the points championship. Your IMCA stock cars, super close between your top 3 drivers. Adam Goff is your current points leader. He has got only a 4-point lead right now over Will Sheretsky in second. Jordan Boyce is in third. Taylor Mogard is in fourth. And Cole Hanshu is in the top 5. Again, hopefully Cole gets a motor as well for the stock car. I know they've been having motor issues here. He had it replaced again right after the mod tour. But then it looks like he blew up again in Underwood. So I know he's got a legend up and running too, but hopefully he can get that engine replaced as well in his stock car to keep his points positions. Your wingless sprint cars, they have run over at the Nodak Speedway as well. They're here or there for a specialty class, but it looks like for their points, Dusty Lawson is leading over Miles Tomlinson, Eric Guyot, Storm Damon, as well as it looks like Steve Nordrum is right there in the top 5. So that's how they're sitting right now. So within Nodak right now for their schedule, they have got, it looks like about 6 races left. That does include the race before we were taping this episode, or should say before we release this episode. So they're going to have the events here August 13th, August 20th, August 27th, and then they roll into Motor Magic on September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as they have wrapped up their points championships.
Thank you for the update on Nodak. I know, talking with Travis Hagen and Will Sheretsky, I don't know if they necessarily were focused on racing for points this year, but they find themselves in the thick of the point battle once again.
Travis was actually going to take a week off there. It sounded like to go basically to the lake for about a week, and ended up still racing Minot that Sunday. So he kept his points advantage over in Minot.
Yeah, interesting how that works out from the beginning of the season to now. And who all is in the points battles. All right, so then moving on over to the McLean County Speedway in Underwood. I don't know based on the chat who is taking that, but
I'm
whoever
taking it.
Jessup's got it.
I got it. And their season championship has the checker flag out already. Semi-pro legends, it's you get John. I'm gonna need your help with the last name. Is it Cole Slabo? Slobo?
No, it's
Slaba.
Slaba.
Slaba. Thank you, John. He took the championship over Weston Hagen, who took second, Dustin Hagen in third, Maverick Nelson fourth, and Preston Martin in fifth. Going down to the IMCA Northern Sport Mod, it was a pretty valiant effort there by Brock Beater to overpass Christopher Zenz, and in third was Dirk Miller, in fourth, Bruce King, fifth, Drew Papke. So good, nice season championship for Brock. Very good showing there this year for Christopher. He's definitely getting a lot of speed. He's getting a lot more knowledge, and he's going to be one to watch in the future here. The IMCA Hobby Stocks was a slugfest. I had more fun watching these guys all year than any other division, and the season's not over yet. But just the pure joy and elatedness that it brought me, I had too much fun with this. And John witnessed it firsthand. Your winner, and what I've already deemed a slobber knocker, Caden Appelt took a 1-point victory over Kyler Satron. And then in third was Brenna Grinstead. Fourth, Thomas Goldsberry. And fifth, Alex Tvet. And Tveit.
Dwight.
Okay.
That's what it is.
It doesn't, you know what? The pronunciation, no, I guess it's Tveit. My bad. I'm sorry. Tvet. Anyways, moving on to the IMCA stock cars and another pretty close battle here. Will Shareski outlasted Bob Fugman and Adam Goff, as Jordan Boyce would end up in fourth and Michael Swallers would take fifth. They had pretty nice fields all year and a good consistent running season for Will. Definitely helped them there. And in what I would call a Becca special, the IMCA Modifieds, the points were never closer, folks. This is the closest I've ever seen a points battle. Brady Biela took a 1-point win over Isaac Sandro, who was second, and third, only 2 points back, was Drew Christensen, and fourth, only 3 points back, was Justin Medler, and in fifth, only 4 points back, was Marcus Tomlinson. And I jest because they only had one race so far this year, as the Cole County Classic is currently up in the air, as they are trying to figure out if they can make a weekend work. I personally would say maybe the weekend after the Oktoberfest, that first weekend in October would probably one of their best, or maybe run a Sunday show, 1-day type of deal like they did years past, if they are so inclined not to step on toes. But that's up to them. If they choose to end their season, they had a really fun season, I think. They've made a lot of improvements. And overall, I think they've got a bright future if they keep going the way that they're going.
Yep.
You realize that the modifieds don't count towards track championship points and whatnot, right? Were you just being silly just to make fun of me, or did you okay.
Becca,
Just
tell us
making
more
sure.
about Dacotah Speedway and how that's all shaken down right
Yes,
now.
Becca. How are the points? Because I'm sure they're definitely heating up.
Yes, John. As we are recording this, going into the final 3 races of the season, this might look and sound different when this drops, but going into the final 3 races of the season, as I just want to make this clear for all of our listeners and viewers, points are actually fairly tight, especially IMCA Modified Division. Jeremy Keller is your points leader in the IMCA Modifieds. He has a 1-point lead over second place, Mark Dahl. Marlon Seidler, he's in third place right now. He is 5 points back. Sean Strand, who he wrecked his car on the Modified Tour, had to unfortunately miss a race on July 21st. Came back to race the Gov Cup, but since he missed a full race, he's still fourth in the points, but he's 45 points back. That's over a full race behind our top 3 right now. But he currently sits fourth right now. And Quentin Kinsley, he rounds out the top 5. He has 49 points back from your leader, Jeremy Keller. In the Wissota Street Stocks, this was a very tight points battle going into the North Dakota Governor's Cup. Unfortunately, second place in points, Jeff Hellman, he had a flat tire on night 2 of the Gov Cup, had to take it to the pits. So he's not out of it by any means. He's still very much in it. He's just going to need a little extra help from above to maybe make it a little tighter, but he certainly has a chance to make it happen. Hunter Dalmagala is your current points leader in the Wissota Street Stocks. Jeff Hellman, as I mentioned, he is still in it in second place, just 28 points back. And although that sounds like a lot, Wissota is a little bit different than IMCA, and he's just a handful of positions back in the track, essentially, from Hunter. And so he's still very much in it in second place. Jason Meidinger rounds out your top 3. He is about 96 points back. Matt Dosh currently sits in the 4th position. It's 97 points back. And Chris Welk Jr., he is rounding out your top 5. He's 120 points back from your points leader, Hunter Dalmagala. And Hunter has 5 wins on the season at Dacotah Speedway alone. In the INX Legends, another racing division that was super close going into the North Dakota Governor's Cup. Unfortunately, bad luck for second in place, Donovan Weist. He took a nasty wreck off corner number 4 on night 2 of the Gov Cup. So that really gave Preston Martin some breathing room going into the final 3 races of the season. So Preston Martin is your points leader in the INX Legends. Donovan Weist, even though he had a wreck on night 2 of the Gov Cup, he still holds on to that second place in the points. He's 63 points back. Austin Weist, he is 3rd in the point standings. He's 92 points back. Casey Martin, he is 4th in points. This is by far his best season in the INX Legends. He is 115 points back. And Brandon Anderson rounds out the top 5. He is 122 points back. Preston Martin, he's got a lot of wins on the season just all over the state, but he's got 4 at Dacotah Speedway alone. In the hobby stocks, Derek Appert has been heating up as the season has gone on. He's got 4 wins at Dacotah Speedway. He swept the North Dakota Governor's Cup. He is your points leader over second place, Bill Hultberg. Josh Rorick currently sits in the 3rd spot. He is 88 points back. Kelly Horner is 4th in the points. He is 93 points back. And John Gartner Jr., he rounds out your top 5. He's 127 points back. And Derek Appert has 4 wins on the season. And then in the IMCA Sport Compacts, Chris Yost, who's had a great season this year in North Dakota, he is your points leader. He's got 6 wins at Dacotah Speedway alone, not including his other wins at Thunder Mountain and Nodak Speedway. He's got a 9-point lead over second place Alex Thompson. Paul Shue, he hasn't raced in the last couple of weeks, but he currently holds on to the 3rd spot. He's 142 points back. Coy Schneider, he's also had some races that he's missed throughout the season. He's in 4th right now. He's 147 points back. And then James Gilbert, he's only raced 3 times this year at the Dacotah Speedway. He rounds out our top 5. He's 172 points back. But with IMCA, it's a point opposition. So with 9 points going into the final 3 races, Chris Yost either can stay home or he could break, and he would still hold on to the points lead for a couple of races, just because we don't get that many cars in the IMC Sport Compacts in Mandan. So I can't see him losing that points lead with the races remaining, but anything is possible. And I'm usually wrong about almost everything. So we'll see what happens. So those are the point standings going final 3 races of the season at Dacotah Speedway. Their points championship is Friday, August 25th. And then they're going to have a special Oktoberfest. It's 1 show over 2 days. That'll be September 29th and 30th. They're running 8 car classes, maybe. Yeah, I think 8 for sure. I don't think there's news for me to share in regards to Oktoberfest, but yeah, it should be a great time. 1 show over 2 days, big payouts, and a good time.
Awesome. Still a lot of racing action down in Mandan, and even though the points seem like they're spread out in some of the divisions, anything can happen. And they usually get quite a few cars in most of the classes, so points can definitely shift still. So trying to look at points for Thunder Mountain, it's kind of odd. I think they're missing a race or two, and so points right now, it's hard to kind of gauge where they're at right now. The only ones listed on my race pass are the IMCA Hobby Stocks and the IMCA Sport Mods, covering those.
The hobby stocks have a close points battle.
They do, yes. They're
according to my race pass.
Yeah, the top 5 as of looks like June 3rd, top 5 separated by 3 points. So it looks like they may only have 2 races in there. But Ethan Beckadall is your points leader. 1 point behind is Kevin Smith in the 06. Jay Loafman and Brett Green are tied for third, 2 points back. And Caden Romfo is the top 5 in your IMCA Hobby Stocks. And in your Sport Mods, Gabe Deschamps has a very substantial lead, 33 points over Brian Kentner. Third is Jordan Albright. Fourth, Mason Rust. And Tim Goodwin is in 5th. Those 4 are all 33 or more back. Their schedule for the rest of the season, August 12th is their next race. So after we have posted this, and then looking further ahead, they have their championship night on the 19th, and then they have, looks like they may have a double header September 9th and 10th, Racing in the Hills. It looks like to be 2 full shows for their Enduro class, IMCA Hobby Stocks, Sport Mods, and Sport Compacts. So still plenty of racing to be had up at Thunder Mountain Speedway north of Botno. So then moving on to the next facility, which geographically, I had to double check this, is Jamestown. Go ahead, John Breckel.
Okay, so Jamestown has some very close points battles. It's been actually a little bit since we've raced in Jamestown, as they were off the weekend of the Governor's Cup. They rained out the weekend of August 5th, and then we were there as well as part of the August 12th show. But here's how their points currently sit before we tape this episode. It was right now Eric Bush, your defending track champion in your Bombers, leading the points right now, but he's only got a 1 point lead over Travis Ettinger, and Jaden Michelson, who's had a really good season, just a little bit of bad luck, was 11 points back. So very close points. Asher Williams, who's come on a tear here just recently, is only 29 points back, and Billy Carroll is 35 points back. The Bomber drivers use the WISSOTA point system, so again, every position on the track is a difference, because it's not just 1 point for a position, it's more like 5 points in your feature 4 positions. Next up would be your Legends. Legends Donovan Waste, your defending track champion, is leading, but he has got right now a 4 point advantage over Preston Martin in second, and Colin Compson is only 20 points back. So those top 3 are extremely close, again, because Legends use the index point system, which is 3 points essentially between positions. So you can kind of keep that as a reference point there on the track. Ryan Erdahl is 4th in points, and Glenn Mitchell is in your top 5 in points. In your junior slingshots, AJ Matsky is your points leader. He's got a pretty healthy lead, 38 points over Jackson Caro. Reed Ketterling is in 3rd, Aubrey Ettinger in 4th, and Carver Bollerud is right there in 5th. In your Midwest Modifieds, Jaron Wimstead is on a tear. He has got over a 100-point advantage right now on Travis Stroud in 2nd, Jared Klein in 3rd, Phil Chrislib is in 4th, and Matt Duscher is in the top 5. So right now, the battle between 2nd to about actually 5th is only about 50 points. So again, also a WISSOTA point system. So anything can happen there within your top 5 of points, especially 2nd to that 5th position. In your WISSOTA Street Stocks, this one's pretty close, because you have Jaden Michelson, who obviously is in the Bomber division, but you have Jaden Christ, who is going for another track championship in your WISSOTA Street Stocks. Jaden has got a 17-point lead over Chris Ritter. Dustin Erickson is right there, 45 points back. Then it is Kelly Hoggle and also Jordan Johnson in the top 5. In your IMCA Modifieds, John Nord is holding a pretty healthy lead, about 27 points over Andy Cap. Jordan Sowers, who would be right there in the thick of the points battle, unfortunately had a miss a night, though, due to the fact of having a wedding for one of his family members. He was actually officiating that wedding, and he missed a night of racing. He is 3rd in points right now. Scott Gardner, your defending track champion, is right now 4th in points, and Cody Peterson is in the top 5. So some very close points battles as well over in Jamestown. So again, when we're taping this episode, it's before August 12th. August 12th, they're going to race. It's back to school night. And then they will be having the Carpenter Memorial Midwest Modified race along with the Driven to Care program. That'll be part of August 19th. The Rebel Midwest Modified Tour finale is also going to be in coordination that night with the Rebel Tour. So again, those classes will be running together. Midwest Modified drivers, right now, you are scheduled to race for $2,537 to win. So a really nice payout for the modified drivers there for next week, Saturday night on August 19th within Jamestown. All regular classes running. Then it's season championship night the week after that. And then the final show for them is one of the biggest shows in North Dakota, the 52nd annual Stock Car Stampede. Again, that'll be September 22nd and 23rd. They're already making announcements on Facebook. They've announced the classes. There's a lot of added money already being added into the prize fund. So again, purse will be updated here shortly along with format. Last year's format worked great. Don't expect anything different for this one by any means, as it sounds like they're going to use very similar format to that. The only thing that might be changed a little bit, it sounds like, is maybe the qualifying features with the number of cars in the qualifying feature, but that might be it from that perspective. Other than that, your classes are your bombers, your legends, your IMCA sport mods, your IMCA stock cars, your WISSOTA Midwest modifieds, your WISSOTA street stocks, your IMCA modifieds, WISSOTA late models, and slingshots. And the slingshots have already got added money to the prize fund. So it sounds like they're going to be maybe racing over $200 and maybe $50 to win is what I last heard. So pretty good payout for our youngsters there in your slingshot division. So and they're going to pay out throughout the field throughout that night as well. So again, mark the calendars. Stock Car Stampede, it's September 22nd and 23rd.
Excellent. A lot of racing left in Jamestown. Like you said, one of the biggest races in the state of North Dakota with the Stock Car Stampede. Moving to the Devil's Playground outside of Devil's Lake. You never heard that nickname before?
No, your volume just got super loud.
Oh,
It did. It went up.
sorry about
Mason,
that.
yeah, Mason, you're all over the place, and so you just stop talking and figure your audio out, and I'll take it from here.
Go ahead.
Mason's just excited.
Mason is excited. Well, the Devil's Playground is there's some interesting points here. I'm not exactly sure how their pure stock points work. I'm assuming it's a WISSOTA setup, but Tate Bullis has a 155-point lead over second place Joe Armstrong. Third place is Austin Harris. Fourth is Eric Worsted, and fifth is Hudson Hooker. So that's your home track pure stock division points. Looking at your WISSOTA street stocks, another pretty healthy lead here as Seth Clostrike has a 156-point lead over Stony Crook. And third is Tucker Peterson. Casey Usatis is in fourth. And fifth is Trey Hess. Looking at your Midwest mods, again, this one's even further stretched out as Jory Berg has pretty much checked out on everybody as he's got a 182-point lead over Jason Shue. And third is Austin Hunter. Fourth is Rain Urich. And in fifth, Jaden Varnson. Now we got an exciting class to look after as John Singh and Dustin Strand are tied for points in the WISSOTA late model division. Sitting in third is Brody Troffgruben, who's only 7 points back, and then it kind of falls off from there. So the top three are definitely going to be slugging it out here as we kind of close the season out. But sitting in fourth is Jesse Tunis, and in fifth, Brad Singh. And finally, I'm going to add the non-wing sprints, even though they usually race for their own kind of, what do they call it? No,
They just have like special awards at the end of the year. I don't think they do series points.
I know they
Have,
don't race for series points. So what it's like their overall renegade, season renegade. But if we're looking at season points, Adam Sobolik holds a 5-point lead over Jeremy Lizakowski. Sitting in third is Brandon Palm, who's 9 points back. Steve Nordrum's 13 back, and Lucas Logue is 16 points back in fifth. So with the bigger events coming up in their schedule, they've got a couple more weeks of racing here for their season championship. And then it gets kind of interesting from there because they come to it. Late model track championship points is August 26th. And they've got, from this point, they've got at least 2 more late model races in for them to be racing for. August or September, they have their track championship night without the late models. September 3rd, this is where it gets confusing to me because it's their track championship night's the 2nd. Their September 3rd is their point championship night and night 2 of the non-winged Renegade National or sprints. And that's a really big deal for them and for Renegade Sprints as a whole. And then it goes to September 16th, as it is the Pure Stock Nationals, where they have the Minn Kota Lightning Sprints along with the Pure Stocks and non-wing sprints. And I can't remember where they put the Sport Compact 4-cylinder 1,000 to win race.
That's also on the 16th.
Okay. So that will be a nice night of racing for those divisions. Plenty of money being tossed around up there. So the drivers should be flocking over there for those bigger events. And that's kind of where we're at for their season.
Great. Thank you so much for the update on Devil's Lake. Move further east and down a little south to the Sheyenne Speedway in Lisbon, North Dakota. They have a few races left on their schedule for their track points, and I'll start with the mini stocks. Right now, the guy that's been pretty dominant is Mason Bogart in 97. He's got a 95-point lead over the 41 of Dale Mittleiter. Third is Roger Pokey Lukes, 101 points back. Braden Mund is fourth, and Chandler Dick rounds out your top 5. So Mason Bogart's got a pretty substantial lead there. In the hobby stocks, also a pretty good lead for Jaden Michelson, the 95, the guy that's been pretty dominant there as well. He holds that lead over Kelby Anderson, the 2K, followed by Billy Carroll, 53 points back. Fourth currently is Ryan Munn, and Tice Boisjoli is your top 5 in your hobby stocks. Legends is pretty tight, and there's a good range of cars that show up on a given week, and it can kind of vary from 12 to like 25. So points can really take a shuffle over the next few weeks. Current points leader is the 28M of Dusty Munn. He holds a 2-point lead over Bo Greger. 6 points back in third is Colin Compson, followed by his younger brother Xander Compson in fourth, who is only 11 points back. And then fifth, a little bit distance back, is Taylor Sargent in the 701. So that's going to be a class to watch over the next 3 weeks. Wissota Midwest Modifieds, current points leader is the 71 of Nate Reinke, 14-point lead over the 77 of Jared Klein. Third, 33 points back is Kyle Langland. Fourth, 35 points back is Jaron Wibstead. And fifth, Zach Reinke, 45 points back. So a little bit of separation in the top 5, but with Wissota's points, that the points can kind of shift in one snap of a finger. So still a lot to be battled for in the Wissota Midwest Modifieds. Wissota Modifieds, your current top 5, Joseph Thomas is your points leader. 39 points back is the 24S of Mike Stearns. Third is Randy Klein. Fourth, Tim Thomas. And fifth is Irv Grossman. And so it looks like it's going to come down to Joseph Thomas and Mike Stearns for that points title. And in the Wissota Street Stocks, your current points leader is the 59 of Kyle Anderson. Second currently is the 4T of Trey Hess, 33 points back. Third is Tucker Peterson, 36 points back. Fourth, 41 points back, Johnny Carter. And fifth is the 2U of KCU Satis. So that's another one that can kind of shift quite a bit. Johnny Carter, I believe, has won either the last 6 or 7 track championships down at Sheyenne Speedway. So it's even though it doesn't look promising for Johnny right now, there's still a lot that can happen the last couple of races they have on their schedule. And so looking at their schedule right now, they have the Moonshine Mod Tour that took place this last week. And they also have 2 more points nights the 17th, and 24th. And then they have a to be determined for their year-end specials, potentially on a couple of Thursdays in late September. And so kind of keep an eye on their website and their Facebook page on that potential race to close the season there. So that's the update from Sheyenne Speedway in Lisbon. And we'll move to the River City Speedway for their points update. Who has River Cities? I think that's Becca.
Yeah, I'll take River Cities. They still have quite a few races left on their schedule. As we're recording, their next race will be August 18th, August 25th. Then on September 1st, they're also racing. And then September 7th is the Prelude to the Johnny. Then September 8th and 9th is the John Sides Memorial. And then their season finale is not until September 15th. So they have quite a bit of racing left in their schedule. But their points going into the weekend of August 11th. So a lot of this could change easily by next week at this time, but we'll see what happens. So going into the August 11th races, starting with the NOSA 410 sprint cars, Mark Dobmeyer is your winner. He's got 4 wins on the season. He's got a 19-point lead over second place, Jade Hastings. Brendan Mullen holds the 3rd spot in the points. He is 20 points back. Tied for 3rd is Nick Omdahl. He's also 20 points back. And then running out your top 5 is Jack Croker. He is 23 points back. I don't know how the NOSA point standings work. John, I would imagine you'd have some sort of idea, right?
Yeah, I've looked at it before too, Becca. It's a little bit unique on the points stuff. I was actually just trying to look it up to see if I could find like the complete breakdown of the points. Because it is different. So I'm not gonna go into any details on the points directly and how they do with positions because I don't have the direct right information in front of me.
Yeah, and they only race at Dacotah Speedway one time a year, and otherwise they typically frequent like Huset's and Devil's Lake Speedway. So I'm just not super familiar with them. I follow them to a close degree. I just don't know what the point standings are like. So Mark Dobmeyer has I would assume, healthy points lead with 19 points over second place Jay Hastings at the River City Speedway. Then we'll move on to the Lightning Sprints. They've raced a handful of times in Grand Forks. Dexter, oh gosh, how do I say this name, Mason? Divergstein.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever had to announce that name in my announcing career. So was probably going to butcher that. So Dexter Divergstein, he's your points leader. He's got a 29-point lead over Kate Taves. Matthew Taves holds on to the 3rd spot. He is 31 points back. Jason Berg has the 4th spot in the point standings. He is 31 points back, tied for 3rd. And then Dylan Langevin. Oh gosh.
Langevin.
Another one. Thank you, Mason. He is running out your top 5. He is 36 points back. How do you say that one more time?
Dylan Langevin.
Langevin. Okay. Another name I've never pronounced. And again, I'm just not familiar with the Lightning Sprints. I don't know how those point standings work either. So I'm kind of curious. I'm not exactly sure how close or how tight those point standings are.
I think Dexter Divergstein, he's been pretty dominant. He's been pretty stout.
Yeah, he's had a season. So, and he's got 4 wins in the Grand Forks. So he's got I'd say a good point lead over second place. Moving on to the Westota late models, and Brad Sang is your points leader in that racing division. He's got a 26-point lead over second place, Dustin Strand. In 3rd place, a rookie in the Westota late models this year, Tyler Peterson. He is 30 points back. Joey Peterson holds the 4th place in the point standings. He is 38 points back. And then rounding out your top 5, just 91 points back from your points leader is Brody Troff-Rubin. But Brad Sang holds the points lead in the Westota late models. Moving on to the Westota Midwest mods, Joey Berg is your points leader. He's got a 71-point lead over second place Austin Hunter. 189 points back is Nathan Raksa. I probably said that name wrong as well.
Rasaka.
Thank you, Thank you, Nathan Rasaka. He is 3rd, 189 points back. In 4th place is Jamie Dietzler. He is 193 points back, and running out the top 5, 200 points back is Chris Edmonds. I know how Westota points work. This is pretty much a two-man horse show between Joy Berg and Austin Hunter in the Midwest mods. In the Wissota Street Stocks, it is Weston Ramsrud who picked up his first win of the season just a week or so ago. He's got a 19-point lead over second place Tucker Peterson, who's running for national points. In third place is Seth Klostrich, who is 38 points back. In fourth place is John Halverson, who is 56 points back, and rounding out the top 5 is James Meager, who is 148 points back. For the most part, your top 4 all have a shot at the points championship with quite a few races left in the season. So Wissota Street Stocks are fairly close. And then in the Wissota Modifieds, they've ran a handful of races this year, 5 on the season going into the August 11th races. Tyler Peterson is your points leader. He's got an 18-point lead over second place Dustin Strand. Joey Thomas is in third place. He's 41 points back. Ward Emery is fourth. He is 58 points back. And Aaron Blacklands, my apologies. He rounds out the top 5. He is 73 points back. So point standings are pretty close in the IMC Modifieds, Wissota Street Stocks, 2-man show in the Midwest Mods, and fairly close in the Wissota Late Models as well, between Brad Singh and Dustin and Tyler and Joey. And well, your top 4 all have a shot. So with a handful of races, anything's possible. So fairly good points battles up at the River City Speedway. And again, their points championship is September 15th. And yeah, they have quite a few races on their schedule. Be sure to hit them up before September 15th.
One caveat with that, with September 15th, I believe the sprint car classes have their track championship then, because the Wissota 100 is taking place that weekend. So all the Wissota classes will kind of end their points the week before, or probably 2 weeks before that.
I was going to say, John Heights doesn't count towards points, track points.
No, it's the week before. So yep. So like, what is that? The first, September 1st, I think.
September 1st. Yep.
Right.
So
yep. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep. So Becca, I brought up NOSA points. I was able to go back into the rule book and I found the point structure directly. I'll explain it here really quick. So the way NOSA does their point standings is it's very much based on the old Wissota point system. So Wissota used to do heat points, Consi points if you made it through the Consi, as well as feature finishing points with show points. So they get 10 points for show points. No matter who shows up, they get 10 points for their show points. With their heat races, if you win a heat, you get 10 points. If you get second, you get 9 points. If you get third, you get 8 points, and on down from there. So they count it basically from 10 down to 1. Now, within your feature events, your feature winner gets 35 points for winning the feature. Second place gets 33, then 32, then 31. So it goes down basically in that 1 point increment throughout the rest of the finishing positions. So if you add those up, the most points that a driver can get in a given night is 55 points. So it is kind of like the old Wissota point structure, to where you had the heat points, you had the show points, and you had your feature finishing position points.
Interesting. Yeah. Don't see many of those point structures anymore. All righty. And then the last track to cover in the state of North Dakota is the Red River Valley Speedway, which I'll kind of handle that. So looking at their points, they cover all IMCA classes. And so the NX Legends also kind of fall under that point structure right now. So that's why the points look a little bit different than when you see NX Legend points across the rest of the state. And so points are still very tight. In your Legends, Evan Hendrickson has a 1 point lead over the 58 of Sean Johnson. They've been kind of trading wins out there in West Fargo. Third place right now is the 28 of Josh Wiest. 29 points back is Ryan Brosseth in fourth, and fifth is Scotty Richardson. So within a full race for the top 4. So they have close points battle heading into the finish of their season. IMCA Hobby Stocks, your current points leader is Brody Eckert in the B2. 16 points back is the 21 of Tim Church. Third, Brad Orodal, 20 points back. 30 points back and fourth is Andrea Jacobson. And Tyler Hain is 32 points back in fifth. So Brody Eckert's got a pretty healthy lead going to the last few races as well. In your IMCA Modifieds, another very close points battle. And this is kind of a really cool battle we got going on. Your current points leader is Jordan Sowers in the 02. He's been kind of racking up a few wins this year and it's looked really good. And he's got a 2-point lead over the 72 of Dave Shipley, a longtime veteran. Third place, 18 points back, is the 3S of Jesse Sklicki. And then 47 points back and fourth is Jamie Schultz. And fifth, 49 points back, is John Miller. So that points battle in the IMCA Modifieds is going to be really fun to watch. Your IMCA Sport Mods, Rich Pavlicek has a 7-point lead currently over the 7R Ryan Rested. Third, 17 points back, is Scott Jacobson. 41 points back in fourth, first year in the IMCA Sport Mod, John Sandvig. And then Jaden Pavlicek, also a rookie, is 63 points back. So it looks like it's going to come down to the top three to decide the points battle there. In the IMCA Stock Cars, another very close points battle. There's a lot of contenders still in play here. Current points leader is the 21J of Andrew Jokum. We have a tie for second, 6 points back between Calvin Kesselberg and the 52 of Brennan Borg. 7 points back is the 40 of Rob Van Mill, your Dakota Classic Modified Tour champion. And fifth, 15 points back, is Mike Anderson. You can even include Rick Schultz, who's only 17 points back in sixth. So very close points battle there. And finishing out in the IMCA Race Saver Sprint Cars, another close points battle. Andy Pake is your points leader with 3 points over Ty Hanton in second. Tie for third, only 5 points back between Ty Wilkie and Tyler Rabenberg. And Jeremy Snow, 18 points back, is in fifth. So that's one of the tracks definitely to watch for points battles. Even last year, I remember they had a really close points battle coming down to the wire in a lot of their classes. And so they obviously are racing this previous Friday, the 11th. They have a doubleheader coming up this week with the Howie Show Memorial, the third annual. So they'll have Wissota late models in addition to some of their classes. They've kind of split with the regular classes. Half of them run on that Thursday and half of them run on that Friday in conjunction with the late models. They have the World of Outlaws coming on the 26th on a Saturday with the Race Saver Sprint Cars as the support class. I'm not sure if that's going to count for points. And then the season championship is on the 1st of September. So that is the points update for all the tracks in the state of North Dakota. It's a lot to cover. Good job, everyone, covering all of that. Minnesota and South Dakota, I apologize, but we can only do so much to not make it a 3.5-hour show. So that is your Track Packer report for this week. And even though we kind of touched on it a little bit, Jessup, can we move over to the schedule for this upcoming weekend, the 17th through the 20th, with what's on tap for racing?
He's waiting.
Are you waiting?
This
Okay,
is where we need the
so-
meme.
Now, race fans, drivers, supporters, sponsors, anybody out there involved in racing, you have a one-stop shop that you can check out everything North Dakota racing news, results, recaps, weather forecasts, everything you need to know about the state of racing in North Dakota. It is Dakota Dirt. Again, check them out. They are on social media platforms, as well as on their website at dakotadirt.org. Again, check it out with Dakota Dirt, your one-stop shop for everything North Dakota racing related.
Thank you, John. Well, John and Mason and Becca and everyone who's listening. This week, racing is going to be kicking off on Thursday as the Sheyenne Speedway will be racing Thursday night with all their usual classes, including Wissota Modifieds. Just a little north, the Red River Valley Speedway will be hosting night one of the Howie Schill Memorial. So that'll be a big Wissota late model race. Friday night, the 18th, Dacotah Speedway is hosting their Drive to Survive night, which is a very popular night over at the Bismarck-Mandan area. River Cities is having the Buffalo Blazing Challenge for their NOSA 410 Outlaw Sprint Cars. And the Red River Valley will be hosting night two of the Howie Schill Memorial. So it's 2 big nights of Wissota late model racing action over at the Red River. Saturday the 19th, this is where things get very hectic, and there'll be racing for everyone in the state and our friends north of the border. Thunder Mountain is having their season championship. Estevan Motor Speedway is having a regular night of racing that I can tell, along with all their regular classes. Jamestown Speedway is having the big John Carpenter Memorial. And John, do you want a quick touch on that again, or are you good with that?
No, I'll touch on it. So again, Midwest Modified drivers, it's also the Rebel Midwest Modified Tour finale. They will be racing on Friday night over at the I-94 Speedway. That'll be on August 18th. They're going to have the Rebel Tour show over there, and then it'll be in coordination with the Carpenter Memorial over in Jamestown on Saturday. Again, that $1,000 from the Rebel Midwest Modified Tour show is being added to the purse already for the Carpenter, which there's been over almost $11,000 already raised for the Carpenter Memorial. Again, goes back to a great cause as well, as he was a great guy that we lost way too soon here back in 19. So they put money towards it. Thank you to Tony Smith, Randy Klein, the Carpenter family, and everyone else that's been involved with that event, including Scott Binns, to bring in the Rebel Tour during that time frame, because that's going to be a huge show for the Midwest Modifieds. You will also be having street stocks, bombers, legends, modifieds, and slingshots that night. It's also the Driven to Care night at the racetrack. So again, that will also be doing donations back to basically the Jamestown Regional Medical Center, very similar to like Drive to Survive for the Dacotah Speedway. And they will also be doing a high heeled race in front of the grandstands that night as well, to raise money for those patients that are out there as part of the medical center.
Very good. Devil's Lake will be having an NLRA Wissota late model special that night.
And just of that is the rescheduled Golden Hammer.
Yep. Very good, John. Way to make sure that is noted. So that should draw at least a handful of extra drivers that are not normal regulars with the NLRA. Then over at Southwest Speedway, it is their season championship, and that wraps up the Saturday portion. So there's a lot going on there, a lot of racing to follow, and just a little bit of everything for all of our racing fans. Sunday closes the weekend out with the Nodak Speedway, with just a regular show that I know of, unless something else gets posted otherwise. So that is what this week is looking like for racing.
Excellent. Yeah. I have to double check, but I think pretty much every track in the state of North Dakota besides maybe
Williston.
And Williston are running.
And I don't think Underwood will be running.
Well, and Underwood. So not as many as I thought, but quite a few tracks racing this weekend.
Yeah.
Outside of the state of North Dakota, we have on Thursday the 17th, KRA Speedway and Victory Lane Speedway running as usual. Norman County is off, of course, with Red River Valley Speedway running. There's a lot of actually big races taking place outside the state of North Dakota. So Fiesta City Speedway is having a 2-day Wissota late model special starting on the 18th and then on Saturday the 19th. And then also, if you go into South Dakota, Miller Central Speedway is racing on a Friday. They typically race on a Saturday, but the Tri-State Late Model Series is coming to town then. And like John mentioned, I-94 EMR Speedway is hosting the Rebel Midwest Mod Tour on the 18th. The 19th, the Dakota State Fair Speedway in Huron, South Dakota is having the Tri-State Late Model Series along with a couple of other classes, and they do a special Orbs Pot of Gold. So I believe they're racing street stocks and Midwest mods in addition to the Tri-State Late Model Series. And I believe if you're in the top 15, you get put into a drawing for some extra cash, and it's a very substantial amount of cash. And so that's always a big
Super stocks are also on the schedule that night.
Thank you. Yep. So that's as a popular lane down there, they only do a couple races per year, so that's a big night down in Huron as well. Other tracks racing on Saturday, mentioned Fiesta City Speedway, Greenbush Race Park, North Central Speedway, and Brainerd and Oglebay Raceway as well. And then Sunday, the 20th, we have Bemidji Speedway, Buffalo River Speedway, Casino Speedway, and the Granite City Motor Park all running as well. So there's still a lot of racing taking place outside the state of North Dakota as well. And so as we start to wrap up our show with our white flag segment, want to give a shout out to Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro in the 12S IMCA modified driver. Be sure if you see him at the racetrack, he may be farming, but he'll be at the racetrack, particularly in Nodak Speedway, maybe on the western side of the state. Check him out. He got a whole bunch of snacks and goodies. His family's a great group of people to talk to, and awesome to have him support us on the Track Packers podcast. So thank you once again, Isaac, for supporting us. Does anyone have any additional wins that they want to share that they maybe didn't get a chance to share over the last week or so?
I have two. I am selfish and greedy. First one goes out to our buddy Scotty Gartner for qualifying for the Harris Clash over at Deer Creek. It is. I would say the Harris Clash. Maybe not everyone, but I would say the Harris Clash is got to be up there with the crown jewels of IMCA racing. It is a modified race and a sport mod race that is very sought after and has a lot of prestige behind it. And for one of our local drivers to make it out of a very stacked heat is very impressive. And he made the smart choice and took the money that was offered up and ran with it and walked home. Well, didn't walk, but walked away with $1,000 for that night. So hats off to Scotty Gartner. That was an awesome job, buddy. And, we like seeing our own do good. So that's my first one. My second one goes to the most recent winner from North Dakota, none other than Mr. 11-time Donnie Schatz, winning the opening night of qualifying for the Knoxville Nationals 410 sprints. He went +6 in the feature tonight and currently sits on top of the points that will place him in Saturday's features. And hopefully he's acquired enough and amassed enough to be on the front row or near the front. So hats off to two of our own. One a little lower level, more local level guy, and the other still kicking it out on the national scene. And hopefully he puts a beat down on Brad, Little Cat Sweet, and Kyle. Well, Kyle. That's all I have to say. The name Kyle. He probably drinks Bang and Monster Energies and breaks stuff.
Excellent. Good couple of winners right there. Becca or John, do you have a winner too that you want to share?
Becca, I'll go next. I've got just a couple here. So my first win of the week, I have to give it out to one of our veteran drivers. That's over there in the Wisconsin area. I have to give it to Pat Dorr because Pat did really well over in the Twin 25s just a few weeks ago and ended up locking up the points for the XR Northern Storm Series for the late model. So congratulations to Pat. Plus, Pat ran with the XR Super Series on Monday. That would have been August here on I believe that was the 7th.
Yep.
And he actually won his heat, started pole for the feature, ran top 10 most of the race, and just dipped back to 11th at the end. So congratulations to Pat. Pat's had a very nice season here in his late model. So that is my first win of the week. My second win of the week, I am going to directly give that out to the driver actually I did support here tonight. I'm giving it out to Bobby Pierce because Bobby has had some very big wins here the last couple of weeks. So congratulations to Bobby on some great victories with the World of Outlaw late models and the XR series.
Good deal. Becca, do you got a couple?
Yeah. My first win of the week goes to our Dakota Classic Modified Tour champion in the modified division, Tim Ward. He picked up the victory over at Deer Creek Speedway, winning the Harris Clash. They haven't had a repeat winner, so this is Tim Ward's first Harris Clash victory, and he started 9th and worked his way through the field and made a late race pass on Brennan Beckendorf to take the win with just a handful of laps remaining. So it was a really exciting race to watch. My second win of the week, I want to give it to Mike Kraft, because this as we're filming this past weekend at the Nodak Speedway, Preston Martin, who has had a fantastic racing season, he actually had some issues with his car, the mini machine, in the heat race. What, John?
You said Mike Kraft, right?
Did you mean Mike King?
22.
Yeah, I think it was Mike King.
Sorry. Yes, thank you, John. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Yeah. Yes. Mike King, 22, from Jamestown. He is my second win of the week because, as I was trying to say before John interrupted me rudely, Preston Martin had some issues in his heat race up at the Nodak Speedway this past weekend, back on August 6th. Sorry, excuse me. Hard to read. It's midnight. So, anyways, Preston Martin had issues in his heat race. Qualified for the feature. There were only 24 cars that night, and they were going to race them all anyways, but didn't have a car to race in the feature. Mike kindly gave up his ride, his own car, so that Preston could have a chance to start tail end, but race his way through the field, and he did pretty darn well in the end. I can look it up real quick. I did not prepare this part.
I think he was
Thank
sixth,
you.
Becca. I think he finished 6th.
He did really well behind a brand new car, a car he's never raced, and drove it up through the field. So as John mentioned, he finished 6th in a car. First time wheeling it. So second one of the week goes to Mike King. Thank you.
Very good. I just have 2 more to add. The first one goes out to someone I kind of gave a little shout out to in last week's episode, but Tyler Cater out of St. Cloud in the 5K with Soda Modified. He made a good chunk of money on the week of, I believe it was August 5th and 6th. Thursday at that KRA Speedway, there was 2,000 win for those Soda Modifieds, and he got that win and followed it up with $1,500 more at the Fiesta City Speedway. So $3,500 in 2 days is not a bad payday for a young guy like Tyler Carey, who that's beginning of the year was kind of on the struggle bus, but it's really racking up wins at the right time of the year. So that's my first win. And then my second win goes to Josh Wiest in the NX Legends. I didn't realize this at first because that was his first career win at Buffalo River Speedway on Sunday the 6th. And he came from 14th place to get that win in front of a lot of very stiff competition. So shout out to Joshua Wiest. He's been looking really good this year. I thought he got a few more wins on the year already, but congratulations on getting that first one out of the way, and hopefully there's more to come in the near future. So I think with that, that'll do it for episode number 24 of season 2. Be sure as always to like, share, and comment on our videos on Facebook or YouTube, whether you may be watching. Spotify, Google, and Apple is where you can find us in podcast form. And thank you to our sponsors, as always, Hitch Harness and Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro. A lot of racing taking place, only a couple weeks left in the regular season before special and invitational time. So we hope to see you out there packing the track.